Hey everyone, so today the collage is going to be a step-by-step, but it's also going to be a life update for June 2026. Can you believe it? There are so many changes in my life, but first, let's get started on this collage. I figured it's Pride Month in Bangkok. I might as well make an unconventional collage, and I absolutely love it. So what I did was I set this all up and then I took a picture, and now I'm trying to recreate the picture. And of course, it's never going to happen, but it's going to be close. And as you see later on, I need to grab a couple more flowers and add, but this is the benefit and the loveliness about collage in analog form is that you have to kind of take the grip away from perfectionism. What you thought you saw and even the photo that you took, you cannot replicate it perfectly. And you just have to kind of let it go. And sometimes it looks better. And in this case, I actually think it looks better. Let's get started on my life updates though, because it has been huge and it pretty much has all been positive. June in Bangkok. If you're not aware, I'm an American. I used to live in Portugal. I've lived there for almost 5 years and then just decided to move to Asia, move to Bangkok on the DTV. We'll talk about that later if you're interested in the DTV. But January, my birthday, actually, I signed a lease. And I have literally been here almost 6 months. And now technically I have not been living at the apartment for 6 months because I went back to Lisbon to pack up and kind of got stuck there with the war. I would say 4.5 months I've been here, and I have gone through the tourist season, the cool season, the burn season, and now we're in the rainy season. So we're going to talk about all of that. First of all, the rainy season, it has not actually been as bad as I was expecting. I was expecting, torrential rainforest downpours for a really long time, bad thunder and scary weather. And it does do that, but it's for a short period of time. And the bonus is that during the rainy season, there is almost no pollution. It is pretty equivalent to the pollution level in Lisbon. And just to compare, in the wintertime, it's probably 3 to 4 times higher than in Lisbon. And the sun, it's so sunny and there's little poofy clouds and it's nice and clear and it's just beautiful. And about every day at between 4 and 6 p.m., it torrential downpours, and then you can see it move through the city, and then we're done. And it is hot and it is humid, but it's done. And this is not what I was expecting. So I have only gotten caught once without an umbrella, which was a bad mistake. And I've only been caught once with shoes that will never recover. They're Adidas, leather and suede, and they'll never be able to recover. The other thing that has happened this month is the princess died. So if you're unaware of Thai culture and the going-ons in Thailand, the Queen Mother died almost a year ago. And so for the Queen Mother or King, there is 1 year of grief and grieving. So when you go into the malls and you go anywhere, you will see a bunch of flowers, an altar, and a picture of the Queen. And that is almost over. It's almost ending soon. And just recently, in the last couple of days, the princess has also now passed away. She was in a coma for 3 years, and she was supposed to be the heir apparent and was really, really invested in human rights, was a lawyer, did a lot of UN legal regulation policy making. So this was a huge hit. So again, they are in a 15-day grieving period where you're to wear black if possible, And again, now, instead of the altars having just the queen, some of them have the princess, or they have the princess and the queen together. So this is what's been going on in June for Thai people. And then also there is something that's happening with the tourist visas for travelers and tourists that are coming to Thailand. It used to be that you could get 60 days. The vast majority of travelers or tourists could get a 60-day tourist visa. And it apparently was very common and easy to get renewed on a regular basis, to the point where many people have been living in Thailand on a tourist visa, which is not the way it's supposed to be. And they just created and changed the law so that the tourist visa is only now 30 days. It hasn't gone fully through the courts, so we don't really know when it's going to start, but that has also added a little bit of tension for a lot of people in the expat or immigrant community, and also for tourists that are trying to figure out, because I don't know if you know, but Thailand has a way of like sucking you in. You love the place and you never want to leave, which has happened to me. And so people are really upset about this. So we are just kind of waiting and seeing. I'm on a DTV, which is, I think it's called a Destination Thailand visa. It is good for 5 years. Every 90 days, if you're in the country, if you've been in the country for 90 days, you have to check in. The first time you go into the immigration building, which I did this last month in May, it took a while. It took like 4 or 5 hours to kind of wait in line. But by the time that I got to the immigration officer, I was in front of him for less than 2 minutes. It was incredibly pleasant compared to the Portuguese immigration. And at the immigration building, there is shopping and there are massage chairs and there are actual nail places and restaurants and cafes to sit at. So once you get your number, it's super easy to just kind of hang out and just know that you're going to kind of be there for half a day. Now that I've gone in person for my 90-day, if I stay 90 days longer, I just have to go online and update. They just want to know, has anything changed with my housing or my accommodations? Where am I, basically? At 180 days, I have to leave no matter what. It's per my visa. And that's 6 months, 6 months in the country. So I'm actually planning on going to Malaysia, to a couple of beautiful islands, and staying there for 4 or 5 days. And then when I come back, I reset my visa for another 180 days. This will be my life for the next probably 4.5 years. And then hopefully I'll renew another visa and I'll be here for another 5 years. There's a couple of ways you can get the DTV. One is the way that I got it, which is a remote worker. So if, of course, anything changes where I lose my job, I retire, I don't know, change jobs or something like that, then my visa is in question. The other option is that you come in for Muay Thai, cooking classes, classes that aren't language. It's not an education visa, but they do qualify, and you have to have a certain number of hours in these classes per month, and then you apply. Both of these types of visas, the DTV, both of these options, you have to have a certain number of money in the bank, and that changes on a year-to-year basis. So I can tell you that it was quite easy if you have all of the paperwork already. I had my paperwork while I was waiting for my renewal in the Portuguese immigration. And so it was very easy to just like kind of download it or upload it to the Thai visa platform. And I learned very quickly, like I think it was 7 business days or 9 business days, that I had a 5-year visa. All right, so what everybody wants to know is, how am I fitting in? How am I feeling about the move almost 6 months in? And I have to tell you, I love it here. Thailand will grab you, and people are so friendly, and the food is so good, and the lifestyle is so luxurious. And just the standard of expectation is just so high that you're pampered without even really doing anything. And let me give you a couple of examples of that. AC. I know this sounds very American, but AC in Europe is like almost non-existent. When I lived in Portugal, I had no AC and I had no heat. And it was so either hot in the house or cold in the house for the temperatures that you didn't want it to be. So in the wintertime, it was damp and cold and you would go outside to warm up. And vice versa. In the summertime, it was so hot. And then there was no place to go. There was no place with AC. Here, AC and the mall is just simultaneously melded together because this is where people go to relax and get away. So in my apartment complex alone, if I didn't want to turn on my AC, I have a co-working space. I have a snooker or a relaxation area where they have snooker and pool and just hangout cubbies and a little cinema room. I have a gym, which is AC and air conditioned with fans and AC. So this is something that is like, just, it changes your mood and your mindset because it's hot here. Another thing is the heat. Many people have solutions for the heat. So, of course, if you have a pool, that's a solution. You go to the mall, that's a solution. You go to the movies. And then making friends. Making friends has actually been easier here than in Portugal. I think it's the adventurous type of expats and it's the type of immigrants that come. I also think that it's a much bigger city. And so Meetup and Line, which is a social media platform, are just more pervasive. And if I wanted to, I could go to two meetups daily for every single day of the month. And I guarantee you that, it would be interesting. I go to a crafting circle. I go to a Buddhist meditation and Dharma talk. I go to the LGBT and ally meetup where we have lunches and there are drag shows and there are, I went to Songkran with them. And it's a wide variety, whether you're a runner, there are walking groups, there are people who just hang out at the park, there are people who walk on a regular basis from temple to temple. There are so many things that are going on here that it's hard to think that you wouldn't be able to find friends. Now, of course, as you get older, it's harder to find real friends. More acquaintances than friends is what you normally find. But even here, I don't feel as alone. And I think that it's because when I was in Portugal, I would be in my apartment and there was nobody else. And I would go to a kiosk and no one would have a conversation with me. And where here, it's like there are people who are willing, both Thai and non-Thai, to have conversations with you. And even if no one understands the other's language, there's still like a smile, a greeting, a laugh, a joke, everybody's just very convivial. That's a good word for it. And I find that even just being at my co-working space where there are other people there and around me, that sometimes is enough. In the last 6 months, I haven't even really wanted to leave. When I first knew that I had to leave every 90 days if I didn't want to do this immigration check, I didn't think anything of it because I was like, oh yeah, I haven't been in Portugal for more than 90 days. Here, I actually had to do the check-in because I haven't wanted to leave. Like, I literally haven't even wanted to leave Bangkok. I don't want to talk about like the costs and how supposedly in air quotes cheap it is, because there are a lot of parts of Bangkok that are not cheap, that are actually more expensive than Portugal and probably more expensive than the US. But I do want to talk about the ability for lots of people to have what most people in America would call luxury items. And I'm talking about things like food delivery. I'm talking about things like maintenance people coming in and repairing stuff. I'm talking about transportation, and I'm also talking about food. So I can pretty much get anything I want delivered within 2 to 3 days. And I mean delivered to my apartment so that I don't even have to be here. They have a whole system at the front desk where they log everything in. I don't ever have to lug 6 1-liter bottles of water up a hill. It can just get delivered. And I don't even have to carry it to the elevator because we have shopping carts that go into the elevator. The other thing is food delivery. It was abysmal in Portugal. And here it is class act. Again, I live in an apartment that has a whole system set up where the Grab driver just puts it into a little box. I scan the QR code and poof, it's done. I pick it up and they're always early, always early. Everything's always hot. Everything's always good. And that leads me to the food. If I didn't want to get something delivered, I could literally go downstairs, go outside the apartment, go less than a block, and I would find a food vendor. Go across the street and I would find a mall with at least 60 to 70 restaurants. And not only would I be able to find high quality Thai food that's inexpensive, it's safe on the street and at the mall, but I'd also be able to find, if I was being nostalgic or homesick, I'd be able to find things like, I don't know, a Pizza Hut, Taco Bell. If you wanted to live an American lifestyle here, you could. It would be expensive. It would probably be the equivalent of living in the US. So those types of things are just such a luxury. The other thing is having a maintenance person. So every apartment has a maintenance person. My apartment, you can actually go on the app and just say like, hey, I'm having trouble with this. For example, my smoke alarm or my fire alarm was kind of beeping. I let them know. Within 6 hours, they came up to fix it. And they fixed it, and it was part of my rent. I didn't have to call and get estimates, and people don't show up, and I don't have to be there, and then people aren't, doing what they're supposed to do. I didn't have to pay them specifically any money other than what's included in my rent, right? So it's a huge luxury that, especially being a homeowner in the US, I realize is a luxury, but also in Portugal, like you just could not get people to come and repair stuff for you. They just wouldn't come. And so it's just such a luxury that I feel pampered. That's the word. I feel pampered. Like I literally could live for a whole weekend in my apartment and never actually leave. I could go swimming, I could exercise, I could co-work, I could pick up my delivery, I could get a Coca-Cola at the vending machine, I could do everything in my apartment complex. And it's so nice. Oh, and this is my lovely collage. I hope you liked it. If you would like more of these life updates, please subscribe. We're going to be doing them every month, and you can kind of follow me through what I'm doing in my life. I'll see you later. Thank you for watching. Bye.